Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. We got a little problem. Actually, it's not we who have a problem, it's the Russians, I guess, and maybe not the Russians, but maybe the Western countries who are fighting the Russians in Ukraine. And what happened? Maybe you're familiar with the fact that generals in invasions or in wars, generals compete, and it's a lot of with one another for resources, what they're allowed to do by the politicians, what actions they can take, and so on. I will give you the example of the Second World War, where we have, for instance, the competition between General Patton and General Eisenhower. They were provided different resources, and their orders they were given different orders how to proceed. General Patton wanted to get to Berlin first, so did Eisenhower, but the agreement between the Soviets and the Americans was that the Allies, which were the Americans, was that the Soviets will take Berlin, not the Americans. General Patton was very angry with that, but he couldn't do shit. So I'm talking about Patton, General Patton, and then I have what's his name, Eisenhower. On the other hand, on the Soviet side, you have Zhukov, Marshal Zhukov, right at one point. Zhukov with his, I can't remember what was his competition, but eventually Zhukov kissed Stalin's butt more than the other ones, and he's got the green light to take Berlin and the resources to take Berlin, and these guys were competing like crazy to go there and kill Hitler, get Hitler, and be the the famous people that will beat the Germans. So the problem here is the same thing is in Russia as is in other countries. That's the way it is. We compete with one another, because if we say, well, I won the war, you get this, you get this, you get this, you get ladies, and so on. Anyway, well, man, whatever you are into. So in this case, we have the Russians seemingly promoting an axis where Wagner Group is dominant, not Shoigu. And you know what that means if Prigozhin is favored and not Shoigu? That's a big development, and it's bad news for some. This article comes from Ukrainska Pravda from December 26th, 2022. And I'm quoting, "Candidate from Wagner Group head and commander of Russian army in Ukraine heads Western troops of Russia." So the candidate from Wagner Group head, that's gonna be the one who's gonna head the Western troops of Ukraine, of Russia, not the other axis. Like you would say Eisenhower instead of Patton, which that's what happened. He was favored, and then Patton had an accident. Yeah, okay. Evgeny Nikiforov, a candidate from the axis of Surovikin Prigozhin. Prigozhin is the commander of the Russian army in Ukraine and the head of Wagner Group, became the commander of the troops of the Western Military District of the Russian Federation instead of Sergei Kuzovlev from the axis of Shoigu Gerasimov. Sound familiar? Shoigu Gerasimov? Russian defense minister and his first deputy chief of the general staff of the armed forces of the Russian Federation. So Putin decides that Wagner mercenary group, that axis, will take command, not the guys from the Ministry of Defense, not those, but these guys. That's a very dangerous situation. You know why? Because I see Prigozhin killing Putin. I don't see Shoigu killing Putin, but I see Prigozhin killing Putin. And I don't know if Prigozhin is those guys' guy or not, because sometimes when you try to hide your little, cover your tail, you are the most outspoken, like it is right now Medvedev. Medvedev, I don't know if he's what he says he is. Medvedev is the, oh, we just want to fuck you up. Whereas all of a sudden, Medvedev is the most warlike guy in the whole. If you take Kadyrov out, Kadyrov is not even there. Kadyrov is over there somewhere down. Okay, but I'm talking about someone who could replace Putin. He replaced it. He was the president. Now he is the most outspoken and all that. The toughest guy. You don't know if they say, well, who am I gonna put first? Oh, I'm gonna put what's his name, Medvedev, because look how tough he is, and he is just a Trojan horse. When he gets over there, he fucks you all up. The same thing with Prigozhin. He looks like being this criminal or this and that, but if he gets the power, whose man he is actually. You never know. That's how you cover your tracks, by being the most outspoken and do whatever, and then we get the power and you're in control of everything, then you show who you are. All right, now Defense Intelligence states that this is another rotation in the high command of the Russian Federation. Kuzovlev managed to stay in this position for only about a month. Prior to his appointment, Nikiforov held the position for Chief of Staff, First Deputy Commander of the Eastern Military District. Intelligence sources know that General Nikiforov is currently at the command post of the West Troop grouping in the city of Bogukhar, Voronezh Oblast. Quote, the former reason for Kuzovlev's dismissal was the failure of preparation for the offensive on the Liman front. However, in fact, this is a manifestation of an internal political struggle in the top leadership of the Russian Federation. A person from the Shoigu-Gerasimov axis is being replaced by a candidate from the Surovikin-Prigozhin axis. More details. As Defense Intelligence states, that can be trusted, Nikiforov became the fourth commander of the Western Military District since the beginning of the full-scale Russian invasion of Ukraine. I think this is, you can actually check this out, so maybe they are factual here. So, favoring a mercenary group versus your own army is like Germans, favoring SA Truppen versus the Wehrmacht or something. Well, he needed those guys, and I'm talking about Hitler at this point, he needed the SA troops to a certain extent when the guy over there in charge, I can't remember his name right now, the guy with the big scar, not the, what's his name, I can't remember his name right now, not the guy who saved Mussolini on top of that mountain, who was the chief of the Special Operations Commando, I can't remember the guy's name either, and I know them. So the chief of the SA troops, you know how Hitler caught him, right? He caught him in a hotel. His guys caught him in a hotel, engaged in homosexual activity, and that's how they arrested him, in that position, in bed. They caught him in bed, basically making love. Love is love, okay? And they arrested him, put him in a cell, and then I think they gave him the option to shoot himself or go through the whole process, like the same thing it was with the Desert Fox. Remember that guy? Yeah, again. So it's dangerous. It's dangerous. You use certain guys, but those guys, the monster, can turn around you and then take care of you, if you know what I mean. And I don't trust Prigozhin whatsoever. I give him 1% trust. I don't want to say zero. I would give him negative if possible. Negative 100 trust to Prigozhin. But hey, I'm just a guy, like John Lennon's song, I'm just a jealous guy. Yeah, so I'm just a jealous guy here looking at Prigozhin and saying, you got my position. No, but I think that Prigozhin would be the guy who says, hey, what's over there? Like Brutus. Hey, hello, Caesar. Julius, welcome to the Senate. We're gonna give you some acupuncture session. Make sure that your energies are gonna be traveling okay through your channels. Jesus Christ. Superstar. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.